Good morning, everybody. I am once again trying to multi-platform this. We'll see if it works. Okay, so YouTube and Facebook. How's everybody doing this morning? It's July 3rd. Tomorrow is the big 4th of July celebration in the United States. Okay, I'm all set. There we go. So something that has been coming up recently with conversations and people asking me, and just my own awareness, following the energy. What is following the energy, and how do you do it? And it's really interesting that you're probably already following the energy in a lot of places in your life without knowing it. Following the energy is like following the lightness, following your heart, following your bliss, following your joy. A lot of people say it in different ways, follow your passion. Whatever it is, it's like there's something that and there's something that really lights you up and turns you on, that maybe you knew it when you were very, very little. For me, that was always being creative, being artistic, creating things, creating beauty in the world. It's just one of my things. And it's funny when you have something that you love, that lights you up, that is super fun, where time and space disappears when you're doing it, where you're not thinking, you're just totally in it and enjoying the creation. And other people want to make it wrong, tell you you can't pursue that, or you can't make money at it, or all kinds of other points of view will get thrown at you, and it may take you off course. But for you to know what your true north is, what is fun and light and easy and joyful for you, is following those little signs of the energy of what is light. When something is light, where it makes you smile or giggle or even full on laugh, even if other people think it's wrong, that is something that's true for you. And if you continue to move in that direction, your whole life starts to become lighter like that. If you listen to other people and buy into the things that make you feel heavy, contracted, that make you feel wrong, your life will start to contract down. So there's two choices. Well, there's many choices, but you can choose toward the lightness or you can choose toward the heaviness. And neither one is right or wrong. It's your choice, what you choose. What are you going to choose? So I'll share a little story about my life and following the energy before I even knew what it was. When I was young, I was an artist. I first started creating a business, I think it was in high school, and I started painting on metal barrettes, little ducks and little hearts and little stars and fun little things, colors, with my brother's model airplane paints. And people kept telling me, oh, you should sell these. So I brought them to a store and they bought them. And that was like my first entrepreneurial business, selling these little barrettes. And all through high school, college, I was always pursuing my art. And when I graduated college, what I really wanted to do was to be an artist, but there's nothing in this reality that says, "Yes, you can just jump into your art career." It's like, no, you have to get a job. And the only thing that I could think that might put together what I was interested in, the art, the creativity, and business and getting a job was advertising. This is what I was told. And I tried to get a job in an advertising agency, using connections of people who knew people, and it was so heavy, and it didn't work, and I didn't get hired. I eventually, let's see. Oh, I started working for a software company, Lotus Development, back when they had just become public. Um, and it was another referral from a friend, and so I started learning about computers and how to really create spreadsheets and graphics and things on the computer, which I then used in my business that I created going forward. So it's funny how, like, the things that you choose, you may not know what you're going to use them for, and it may not seem like a direct line, but it adds something to your life and you learn something. It expands your awareness so that it helps you move forward. Um, let's see. So, so then I moved to San Francisco, transferred in that company, moved to San Francisco. And at a certain point, working for the software company just wasn't light anymore, wasn't fun. And I quit or I left, or I don't even remember that change. And um, all along the way, I was making my own jewelry. I was making jewelry and wearing it because the jewelry that I could afford out there in the world wasn't anything that I really liked and wanted to wear. And the jewelry that I liked was too expensive. I liked the real stuff. So I started making my own jewelry on the side, and everywhere I would go, people would stop me and say, "Where did you get that? That's so pretty. Where did you get that? Can you make me one?" And little by little, I would start making pieces for people. And then I got this San Francisco street vendor license, and I started at the holidays selling my jewelry on the side. And oh, wait, right before that, somebody had wanted to buy a bunch of pieces for their whole business. They had gifts that they needed to give out, and they're like, "You need to have a business license so that the company can write you a check." So I was literally forced by the universe to creating my business, to getting a real license, to starting to create in that direction. The thing that was fun and easy for me that people seem to receive and enjoy. Oh, it says that there's some comments, but I don't see them on here. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, sorry guys, I can't see your comments. Oh, maybe I can look on my phone. So I started making things for other people, and I started, oops. So I started making, hold on one sec. Got to turn off. There we go. Oh, hello from Europe. Cool. Yay. Hi, everybody. Where was I? Oh, so I started making things. I started getting into stores. I had to get over my being willing to talk about what I do and show up and actually be willing to sell to a store. And that was that's like a whole other subject. But it was like being aware of which places would be open to what I do, which places would the jewelry like to be in. All of these things are little choices of following the energy of um, of choosing in the direction of the lightness. And every time I chose in the direction of what was light for me, doors would open. And this is something that I remember telling myself, like, wow, every time I choose what's fun and light for me, the doors open. So I always knew that, like, this was meant to be because it was so easy, it just flowed. So if we're making something hard, is there a doorway that we could open through using a question that would allow everything to move forward with total ease? Okay. Coffee talk, but coconut water today. Let's see, what else can I share about following the energy? Yeah, it's like every little tiny choice throughout your day, even which way to drive to go to work, where to go for lunch, when to call somebody. You get these subtle awarenesses all the time, but do you listen? Or do you wait for them to be this loud bang over the head? Pay attention, you know? So little subtle awarenesses of what is fun and what is light. And it doesn't mean that you don't follow through with things that might be a challenge. That's not the same thing. Backing away from a challenge, is that really creating lightness? Or is it not stepping into what you know you can be, or what you can do, or overcome, or create? So there are many, many challenges in the forward creation of my business. Once I was forced into creating the business and having a business license, there were many things. Like, so I was doing some wholesale business, selling to other stores. And there came this big wholesale show in Boston that I thought, ooh, that would be something that I could do to expand my business more. And it was one of these things where there's so many different things that you can choose, but that one just kind of lit up. So I chose it and I applied, and they rejected me. And I got angry because their rejection was that like I wasn't hand doing everything, or I don't know, which I was. So I wrote back and said, I'm sorry, you have this incorrect. And, I know these other people who do that same show, and they don't even make their pieces. They buy them and glue them together. And I am hand doing everything from start to finish, blah, blah, blah. I wrote this whole thing out. And then they accepted me. And I was like, oh, cool. And I remember on the airplane, because I'm in California and the show was in Boston. I remember being on the airplane and thinking in the future about the show, and just imagining in my head how people would be coming to my booth and crowding around and ordering things, and that it was just going to blow my mind with possibilities. And at that time, on the airplanes, they had these magazines with gifts that you could get with your points or use your credit card. And they had this huge umbrella with the inside being the Sistine Chapel. And I thought that was so cool. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a deal with myself. If I write a certain amount of orders and make a certain amount of sales at this show, I'm going to buy myself this gift because it was sort of crazy expensive, but I loved it. So I go to the show, and the first day I had all this jewelry that I made, and then I have these little magic stones, a little bowl of them, maybe a couple bowls of them around my booth. And everybody who was streaming in kept walking right up to the magic stones and loved them and ordered them. And I got so many orders, I didn't know how I was going to fill them. I remember people coming over, bringing their friends, bringing other buyers from other stores. And it totally exploded my business. And it was very much the energy of what I had imagined when I was on the airplane, just like tapping in. So I realized it wasn't visualizing the future. It was actually tapping into the energy of the future that I had already created by choosing that show. So you can acknowledge your future creations and allow them to actualize faster and easier. And that's a whole nother topic that maybe we'll talk about too. Actually, somebody has asked me if I would share some insight and information on getting your art business or getting your artwork out in the world. So be on the lookout because I will be creating some of that. Somebody just walked into my backyard and that was a little distracting. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. So of course, when I flew home, I ordered that umbrella, which I've used for many, many years. I think it's still in my car. It's this huge umbrella, and it has the Sistine Chapel on the inside. Always makes me happy. Isn't it fun to choose things that make you happy? Like, if you have a fun umbrella, maybe the rain can make you happy, if the rain doesn't already make you happy. I'm an umbrella person, so having a fun umbrella actually adds to my life. So following the energy, it's not something that is mental. It's energetic. So you have to get clear on your internal compass of what's fun for you, what's easy for you, what's light for you, what lights you up, what makes you happy. Not what other people think you should do. And this is something that takes practice. Practice and choice. Just choose. Choose and choose and choose and choose and choose. And then choose again and choose again and choose again. Many of us think that if we choose something, we have to stick with it forever. There's that old saying, you made your bed, so now you must lie in it. This is simply not true. You can choose, and that choice could create an awareness that that choice is not for you. So you can choose again. Have you ever found a parking spot and pulled in and it felt kind of ick? And you're like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to move. I did that once. And I remember I moved around the corner somewhere else. And I went to this little coffee shop on the corner. And there was an issue with a train and a car, and they would not budge. And then the car like rammed into cars that were parked on the corner to go around the train. And I was like, wow, I am so glad I didn't park there because that car got smushed. So following the lightness, even though it doesn't make sense, even though you might not know what the thing is, allows you to avoid disaster, possibly, allows you to be in the right place at the right time, or not in the wrong place at the wrong time. Many of us, though, in trying to get things right, in trying to make other people happy, in trying to not do the wrong thing, we've inverted the awareness of heavy and light, and we choose heavy because we think heavy is real, and I can sense that, and I know what it is. So we're like using our magic against us. If that's the case, simply ask to reverse it. You are not stuck. You are never stuck. If you ever feel stuck, you can just ask, okay, what choices have I made that's created this? And let's reverse it and start choosing lighter and lighter and lighter. I can sense a lot of things changing out there. Like you in the future watching this, I don't know how many people are on live in these two platforms. Maybe not many. But I can feel this changing stuff for you in the future. So what would it be like if you knew the choices that would expand your life, even if you don't know how, and you trusted yourself to follow them? A lot of times we'll use reasons and justifications to not follow the lightness. Like when something costs a lot of money. It's like, and so then we go against our awareness. But what if we took money out of the equation? And you can do that by asking a question. If money weren't the issue, what would I choose? Because choosing something that is following the energy for you, that opens up your life, it's not going to be linear. It's not going to be logical. And you might have to invest something, and then you see the return later. Like when I did that wholesale show, it was a big investment. I had to fly there. I had to ship all of my product out. I had to stay at a hotel. I had to pay for the venue, and those are upfront choices. But I knew that it would create, even though I didn't know what exactly, I knew that it would create something. So sometimes we need to invest upfront in ourselves, or in our business, or in our relationship, or in our health, or in our personal development, like whatever it is that you're like, ooh, what is that? Those are the things that add to your life, that allow you to expand, that make you happy. And what are we here for if we're not choosing happiness? Life is not just about learning lessons. What if it's about having fun? How much fun could you be having if you followed the lightness of the things that show up in your life? Just a question. Okay. Any other? Let's see, what else can I share? Just feels super spacious and light right now. So maybe this is a good time to wrap it up. Hopefully you've heard some things that are sparking some possibilities for you, and maybe you'll be willing to, number one, acknowledge where you are following the energy, and number two, be willing to make choices that allow you to follow the energy to the lightness. No reverse magic on yourself. And how does it get any better? So I will say goodbye for now. I'm going to go do the expanding exercise in my Finding Your Sparkle group. And oh, yeah, I do have a couple of things coming up this week if they're light for you to choose. There's Golden SOP, which is an energetic session on Zoom. You can find it on my website. It's this Wednesday. And on Thursday is an intro for Talk to the Entities. That's on Zoom as well. So I hope you will come play and have a great rest of your week.